This is an incredible panel. I'm really excited to have this crew of ladies with us today who are doing incredibly impactful work in education in our community. And so what I'd like to do is just go through, and why don't you introduce yourselves and your role at your respective organizations, and then we'll come back through and talk about some of the highlights of the work you're doing in your respective organizations.
So I'm Linda Livingstone. I'm the president at Baylor University.
And I'm Johnette McCowan, and I'm president of McClellan Community College.
I'm Beth Wooten. I'm the provost for TSTC in Waco.
I'm Sharon Shields. I'm servant leader of La Vega ISD.
And I'm Susan Kincannon, superintendent of Waco ISD.
Awesome. And this is a great crew. Let's just give them a round of applause for being here. I know all of your schedules are incredibly busy, but these ladies' schedules are also incredibly busy, so I'm glad that we can come together and learn about what's going on. So why don't we kick it off? President Livingstone, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on at Baylor right now that the communities of faith in Waco might want to know about?
Great. Well, I appreciate that, and appreciate the opportunity to be here to share a little bit about what we're doing in the community. And I'll try to do this quickly. There's lots, and I probably won't cover everything, so I'll just hit some of the highlights. First, we're actually the largest employer in the region, so that's a pretty important contribution. And probably most of you have members of our Waco community, faculty, staff, or students in your church community. So obviously one of the most important things that can happen is the connections we have with our folks, with your churches. We also are involved in the Solid Gold Initiative. It's an initiative of Baylor working with the community, and we focus on education issues, on health, on cultural wealth, on city growth, and on economic development. And so we are doing some things like investing in technology commercialization out of the research that our faculty are doing, and hoping then to help create startup businesses in Waco that help grow the economy. We are working really hard to keep our students in Waco and to work with the various economic development organizations in the community to find ways to encourage more of our students to stay after they graduate from Baylor. And then you just heard from United Way. We actually partner with United Way. It is the one major organization that we actually have a campaign on our campus to support. So we work very closely with United Way. Just some specific things we do. We partner with Waco Family Medicine and do a lot of internships and research with them. We have an adoption day. Our law school hosts every year. We do an adoption day. We've, since 2008, celebrated almost 400 children being adopted into 200 families in McLennan County. We have a Center for Developmental Disabilities that does work with children with autism. It's an amazing program. We have more demand than we can imagine, but serves the community and then is a great platform for our students to learn and apply the skills they're learning. We also have an audiology clinic that does similar kinds of things in our community, serving families. We are partnering on the Riverfront development. Yeah. So again, another economic development, community development, entertainment district with our Foster basketball pavilion that will open next January. So we're thrilled to partner with the city and the county on that. We send dozens of student teachers into some of these community schools. So many of your children have probably had Baylor education majors as student teachers in the community. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to contribute. And then the last thing I think I'll mention, since we've got a bunch of preachers in the room, our seminary, I'm sure, has been very beneficial to many of you. How many of you went to Truett? How many of you have or had staff that went to Truett? So it's a wonderful resource for the community, especially for a community this size, to have access to well-trained seminary students to serve in the community. So those are a few things. I'll stop there.
Well, I'll talk just a little bit about we are accessible, quality, and affordable education. If you have people in your congregations and they don't have a high school diploma and they need a credential to get a job, we can help with that. If there are Spanish-speaking people in your congregation, through our AEL program, we can help with that. We also have a very vibrant dual credit, and we partner with all of these folks in one way or another. And we have probably right under 1,800 students that are either going to school free or reduced tuition. We have probably about 50 students a year who get their associate degree right before they graduate from high school. So we do many of those things. Two of our best things that we do are with Tarleton and Tech. You can get the very same degree here in Waco without leaving home, without relocating from Texas Tech and Tarleton. And then when folks graduate, they typically go to Stephenville or they will go to Lubbock and walk across the stage like everybody else. We provide a lot of training. We do a lot of health care, and people that need a good job, we can help them get enrolled. We're really busy in education with Tech and Tarleton and the other things that we're doing. We partner with the colleges here, and we do a lot of things with Baylor. Our students, I have one right now, Danielle, who has been in the Baylor Golden Wave Band, and she's been there for 2 years, and she's never been to school at Baylor. So we have those kinds of things. We are trying to change lives and help people stay right here in an affordable way. If students are in the top 10% of their class, they can get free tuition and fees. And if they're in the top 20%, they can get 50% of that. And so the full ride is $122 for tuition and fees per semester hour. So we can help students. We have a lot of wraparound services for them to finish. My husband and I started an emergency fund when our 2 nephews committed suicide. So we can help students make that last step of the way. That way we have free transportation, same thing I think TSTC has, to where students can go anywhere, anytime on the Waco Transportation, another partnership, so that they can go to work and do whatever they need to do. So we have a lot of things to help people be successful. We train our police officers, we train our EMTs, as well as most of the nurses in the hospital. One of them, Killian, could have gone anywhere she wanted to. She could have gone to Rice, and she stayed here, and she's a nurse in the hospital. So we are the community. We're here to help, and we thank you for the opportunity to know we're here.
Well, at TSTC, Texas State Technical College, we are a little bit different than my other post-secondary friends here from the Waco community. Our mission is focused singularly on having a direct impact on the economic development of this community that we serve. I'm fortunate enough to be newly appointed as the provost for the Waco campus. I've been with the college for a period of time and have lived in Waco my entire adult life. Dr. Livingstone doesn't know this, but I started my career at Baylor and fortunate enough to be working with TSTC. But our focus is to put skilled technicians directly to work. And we do that by forming strong partnerships with our industry partners and thinking about how TSTC and local congregations can potentially work together is just bringing about awareness to what we do at TSTC. A lot of folks misunderstand what we do, and you hear folks talk about the trades. We like to call it technical education, and so bringing about awareness and combating that perception that oftentimes is associated with what we do at TSTC. But we offer about 24 programs on our Waco campus, and we also have some great dual enrollment partnerships with Waco ISD and with La Vega ISD. Really proud about those partnerships. Something that we're really excited to announce, like I said, we do work with our industry, and our industry partners came to us along with our partners at the City of Waco and with the county. You may or may not have ever heard of the skills gap, and it's something that we talk about a lot at TSTC. It's the shortage of skilled technicians. And our industry partners came to us recently and said, hey, we need a little bit of more, we need more help, we need more training opportunities. So we are partnering with city and county officials to build a brand new training facility. We don't have a formal name for it yet, but it's going to be situated directly in the industrial park over in that part of town to directly serve our industry partners in that area. So.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sharon Shields, and I have the honor of serving as superintendent of La Vega ISD. When I received this opportunity from Mayor Meek, I felt like it was important for La Vega to be at the table. And that's because my faith and my Christian beliefs, they have undergirded and they have been the reason why I have experienced any type of success that I have professionally. So to be in the room of religious leaders and to put La Vega on your minds for you to pray for and to cover our students, our staff, and our community is really a priority for me. We are a district of approximately 3,000 students. About 60% of those are Hispanic, 25% Black, and 11% white students. Our economically disadvantaged level is 93+% students that come from economically disadvantaged households. When I was preparing for this, I asked our leaders, what would you like the community to know about your school and about our school district? And I received information from our rowing club, which has already been mentioned, YMCA swim safety lessons for not only our students, but also for their families now through the generosity of the Cooper Foundation and the YMCA. Our barbecue club, our Modoc Media, our excellent partnership that we have with TSTC and MCC, our dual credit program. We have over 30% of our student body at the high school that are taking some type of dual credit classes. We're extremely proud of our full-day pre-K 3-year-old and full-day pre-K 4-year-old programs as well. And we have dual language all the way from pre-K 3 up to through 5th grade at this particular point in time, where students are learning, Spanish-speaking students are learning English, English-speaking students are learning Spanish as well. So we have some phenomenal things going on. We have our early college high school program where our students are graduating with college degrees before they earn their high school diploma. We have our P-TECH program through TSTC that we're just starting, but we're excited about that too. So they shared all of these things with me. But then I started to think about, what am I most proud of? And I'm most proud of us being able to provide free lunch and free breakfast to every single one of our students. Because of the economic disadvantage level that they come from, meals are important. So to be able to remove the stigma of you qualifying for it, every one of our students have an opportunity to eat free breakfast and free lunch. So I'm extremely proud of that. But I think what I'm most proud of are our people. I have 3 of my staff members. Would you all please stand up? We have our principal, Mr. Villa, our dean, Mrs. Gravitt, and our assistant superintendent, Ms. Gibson. We have some of the finest educators you're going to ever come in contact with. And and our students are just wonderful. So thank you all for the opportunity to be here. We're delighted to be a part of this.
Great. Susan Kincannon, again, superintendent of Waco ISD. I've been in my 4th year in Waco ISD, and I still feel like the new superintendent, and some people still refer to me as the new superintendent. And I think that's because of COVID. Yeah. And I got here just as we were going into the pandemic. And then, we had so much time at home, and everything has just been off kilter, so to speak, for a while. But I am incredibly proud of Waco ISD and everything that we've been through and all of us have been through so much with the pandemic. We have over 2,000 employees who have all been impacted, over 13,000 students who were greatly impacted the last few years with COVID and so much adversity. And we have come through strong, and we've faced every challenge head on and made so many decisions and pivoted in so many different ways as we've been through that, and it has been something. A couple of things that I'm really proud of. And I'll save some of the other programs to talk about with some of the future questions that I think you're going to ask. But two things. One is our bond program. We had a 2021 bond program for $355 million to rebuild some schools in Waco ISD. So we are well into that bond program. We have broken ground on 3 schools so far, and we'll break ground on a 4th soon. And then we'll have some renovations to another school. But G.W. Carver Middle School, which burned in the summer of '21, is being rebuilt. Brand new school will open this coming fall, and we're so excited about that. We've had the kids involved in that project. We've had a historical advisory committee. It's going to be really special. Waco High School is well underway, and someone said to me this morning, now they keep pushing dirt around. When are we going to have a building? They've been working steadily on getting that foundation ready, and soon you will see the structural steel. In fact, in the next couple of months, you should see the entire classroom wing with structural steel, and that's exciting. And then Tennyson Middle School is underway as well, and it will open not this summer, but the following. So busy time. We're still in the design phase for Kendrick Elementary, and looks like we'll be moving our students out of Kendrick so that we can build the best building possible. That's a really small site that school sits on, and we may have to relocate our students so that we can design the perfect building for that site. So we're excited about that. The second thing that I would mention is our P-TECH Academy that we started with an idea in the fall of 2019, working with some community groups and some teachers, and we were talking using a process called design thinking to talk about how to improve teacher retention in Waco ISD. And we came up with the idea of a Future Educators Academy. And that academy would prepare teachers, our students, to come back and be teachers for us in our own school system so that we could get the diversity that we wanted and we could grow our own. Well, little did we know how bad things would get with the teacher shortage, and so we were really excited that we were able to get a grant from TEA to plan for that. So we spent a year in planning last year. This year we launched with 50 ninth graders who are in the program, who will leave us with an associate's degree from MCC, who has been our main partner, but we also have the support of Texas Tech and Tarleton State. And our students will leave high school with that associate's degree from MCC, and then they will go on for 2 more years and get a bachelor's degree in education and come back and teach for Waco ISD. And I couldn't be more proud of that in a time where we have such a shortage of teachers and we need them so desperately, and we're growing kids right here in this community to come back and work for us.
I just want to pause really quick and say, we did this earlier with another panel, but this group of educators has had to face unprecedented challenges in educating their students, managing their workforces during the pandemic. And I just want to pause and let's honor them with a round of applause for the hard work that they did. That's good. Incredibly grateful, incredibly thankful for the diligence and tenacity and heart that you each carried. I had the privilege when I rolled into this role in November of 2020, well into the pandemic by that point, and there was sometimes a multi-week Zoom meeting, and all of these faces were on that Zoom meeting, diligently working collaboratively and facing just really hard challenges, and I'm so proud of the good work that this team did, and I know it's really hard, so really thankful for your leadership. The last question we have for this panel is a twofold question. One is, what is something that you would want your this community of faith, these pastors and the clergy to know about how they might be able to benefit from some of the things going on in your institution or organization, or serve or volunteer or help some of the things going on in your organization. And so again, some of these things have been hit on already. So however brief or long of an answer you want to provide, but just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about direct engagement.
Well, thanks, Dylan, for that. And I would say, I think this community did a better job of collaborating and partnering on dealing with COVID than many, many others that I've talked to, and the way we worked across all of the community. It was really amazing, and I think led to some good results in the city. So thanks for your leadership. Kyle's before you in doing that. Several things I would say. One, we covet your prayers. Being at a Christian university, I have lots of people tell me they're praying for us. I'm sure everybody along here wants everybody to pray for them, but those prayers mean a lot, and they help us. They really are powerful in helping us to get through the things we have to deal with and to do them well. So I always pray for all of us and our students and faculty and staff. One of the other things I would say is, welcome our students into your faith communities, into your church communities. And I will tell you why this is so important. Obviously, we care about their faith development, but we're doing a longitudinal study at Baylor of our students. We've been doing it for 5 years. We now have a group of students we've asked questions of freshman, junior, and senior year. And one of the things that we have found, the most important thing for a student's faith development while they're at Baylor is engagement in a local church community, okay? Now, I know for the preachers in the room, and it's not about the preaching, I hate to tell you that, but it's true. It's about the community and the engagement they have in your churches and in your faith communities and in small groups. And what that study has told us is they are more likely to retain as students, they're more likely to graduate, and they have higher GPAs than students who are not involved in a local community. The other thing we know, and this is unusual, and this is consistent at faith-based universities, our majority white students go to church and are engaged in church communities at a higher rate than our underrepresented, our ethnic students on our campus. At secular universities, it is the opposite, okay? And what we know is that we have got to do better at Baylor of engaging a more diverse set of churches in the lives of our students at Baylor. So Charlie Ramsey, many of you know Charlie, we've put him in a new position a couple of years ago to really work with local faith communities, because we want to bring more churches to our campus, to bring more of our students into your churches so that they can find the church that works for them, regardless of their faith background, their ethnicity, their religious background. And so if you're not already engaged at Baylor, we want you to be. Charlie Ramsey's the right contact person. We want to get you engaged and together with them. We have a church fair during Welcome Week at the beginning of the semester. We had more churches there last year than we've ever had. We have thousands of students that come through Welcome Week and that church fair, and it's a great place to kind of begin to engage with the community. So that's probably the most important thing that you can do. We also do Stepping Out. It's a volunteer day in the fall and the spring. If you have needs in your church community where our students can volunteer and help you with things, we would love to do that. We look for all kinds of opportunities like that. And then the thing I would tell you is we have lots of great activities on our campus, whether it's our sports teams, and there's 19 of them doing all kinds of interesting things. There's theater, there's art, there's speakers. You can come see our bear. You can do all kinds of activities on our campus. We want you on our campus. We want you and your communities to feel comfortable coming to our campus, engaging in our activities, and being a part of the Baylor community. It's a great way, especially for young children that might not have a background in education or higher education, to actually get comfortable being on a college campus and seeing themselves on a college campus. And so we want you to take advantage of that and encourage your folks to come and be a part of the things that we're able to do at Baylor.
Part of what you could do with us is the same thing on the activities. We're pretty easy to get into and to do. We just had a fabulous performance in our theater. You might have heard our women's highlights just are going to the national tournament for the first time in 39 years. But so we like to get there a little faster. They're coached by Bill Brock, who got trained up by Kim Mulkey at Baylor, and then we hired him. And so come support these students. But the best thing you can do is to be an advocate for your congregants about what they can do. listen to what they can do. And I'll talk to anybody anytime. We've got all kind of advisors that can really talk and help them see. You may have people who have a bachelor's degree and just went nowhere with it. They can go through our alternative teacher certification program and then come help some of the schools. And we have a lot of them that do that. I had one, Gerald, who finished in Tarleton, and he had a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. And I said, what are you going to do? Well, he wanted to play his musical instrument. Some of you may know him. And he ended up getting his alternative teacher certification, and he's a coach at Conley at one of the middle schools. And so, you know, he's doing something wonderful with a degree that he just kind of stopped with. So anything we can do, if you have some of your folks who really need to get a GED or something like that, they need that to do the next credential. If they're going to Amazon, we're a partner with Amazon, and they'll pay for them. And we've got a new partnership with City of Waco, too. We want people to be able to better their lives, and we want to be helpful in that. So actually, the thing you can do is to advocate and listen to the people in your congregations.
Does this work? Okay. I was afraid about lost battery. I think the questions were, what would I like y'all to know about TSTC and maybe how you can help us. I talked earlier about perception and awareness about what we do at TSTC, and I think something that I would want to convey to this group that you could convey to your congregations. And if you've got those about to graduate from high school, or even the non-traditional adult learners that, as Johnette talked about, upskilling, looking for a new career. When I think about post-secondary education, to me it's about options, and you have 3 really great options on the stage. It is not a one-size-fits-all. There are folks that are destined to have a legacy to go to Baylor. There are other folks, like my daughter, who went to MCC, and then there are other folks that really like to work with their hands, and they are technically inclined. And so it's about options for higher education. And so from TSTC's perspective, those students that may not fit the traditional mold of a traditional higher education path, let them know about what we do. We offer, as I said, 24 and change technical programs, associate's degrees, certificates. You can get in and out really quickly. The other thing I would like for you to know about TSTC is that, as I mentioned earlier, we are all about placement. We have programs that only lead to great paying jobs. Ideally, they stay in this community and come back and have an impact here in this community. We have our placement rate for our graduates is always hovering in the high 80s, low 90s, which means that our students, by the time they walk the stage, they already have a job waiting for them. So pass that along to your folks in your congregations. A lot of folks may not know that. And so how you can help us is kind of the same as Johnette mentioned, advocate or bring about awareness to the technical trades, the technical education that we offer at TSTC. And finally, invite us in. We'd love an invitation to bring our student recruiting team and our community liaison folks into your congregation, talk to your youth groups, and we'd love for you to bring them to us. We'd love to tour them around our campus.
When I asked my leadership team about opportunities that you all could take advantage of at our high school and throughout our entire district, common themes came through: tutoring, mentoring, volunteering, and one specific was that if you're affiliated with the Greater Waco Chamber, we need a couple of more leads at our high school. So those things were pretty specific. I heard Ms. Bond mention earlier that you all were social influencers, and that's exactly what you are. You know, we'll tell our students and even some of our parents the same thing, and you all say it and they'll do it and they'll respond to it. What I would love for each of you to do is to become advocates for traditional public schools. We are under fire at this particular point in time. There is a bill that has been presented that's called, I think it's Parental Rights Bill, and it is going to offer $8,000 for each child, for the parent to use that to place their students in private schools and or to hire private tutors for their students. $8,000 is a lot of money for some families, and we're not sure that they're going to seek the appropriate private schools or have the appropriate private tutors. They might be homeschooled, and our children are going to be hurt the most by that. So I ask you to be advocates for traditional public schools, and also just cover us with your prayers. When all else fails, the prayers of the faithful availeth much.
Well, I would ask for the same support of public schools. The voucher bill is worrisome because it will take resources from your public schools, and we need those resources, especially now with inflation and teacher shortages and everything that we're facing. So we don't need to be taken from. We need to be boosted up. Waco ISD has a perception of that has been a bit bothersome, and I ask that you support us and that you help tell the good stories of Waco ISD. We have some of the most talented students anywhere. In fact, we had the most students ever to receive national recognition in the history of Waco ISD this year for their high scores and high achievement on the PSAT. We had 11 students recognized. We've never had that many. 10 of those students were Hispanic or Black, and I'm really proud of that. That national recognition for those students. They're incredibly talented. Our schools are doing some amazing things. We have great work happening. We put some structures and systems in place to support literacy. We've spent $4 million in our libraries, improving those library systems and adding librarians and media specialists to support reading, and our kids are reading more. Our stats are up in our libraries, and we're really focused on literacy. So helping to tell the story of the great things happening, follow us, share those posts of good things happening in Waco ISD, and then just help us support literacy for our kids. Thank you.
Guys, we are so blessed in Waco to have an incredible, dynamic group of leaders who are proactively leading these educational institutions. And as was mentioned, there's such a diverse set of educational opportunities in this community. And so my hope is that you'll take what was said today to heart, that you'll take these youth groups to these higher learning institutions so that they can explore what opportunity might be right for them, because each of these post-high school educational opportunities are phenomenal and create lives that are financially secure and full of value and worth, and bring about a high quality of life. And also I really, of all the needs that I've seen, some of the greatest are in our public schools. So if you have volunteers who want to be reminded, and so many of you are already doing this. I know I look across the room and see so many churches who are represented in book clubs and investing in our public schools, but continue to rally the troops to go into these schools to help volunteer and to tutor and to be a part of these book club opportunities to really help our students. So let's give a round of applause to this amazing panel. So thankful for them. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all being here today. And as they walk off, I'm just going to briefly conclude with our time today. Guys, I know we've gone really fast to cover a lot of wide variety of information, hit kind of the high notes on a lot of things. Each person on this last panel could have spent a whole day talking about all the stuff they're doing. That's true for every panel we had. But I hope that this allows you to put a face to a name, that this allows you to see that some of the work that's being done, and if you want to go deeper and learn more, hopefully that you are leaving here more informed about what to do in the days ahead. I hope you remember the names. Like I said, put a face to those names. Reach out to them. I heard so many invitations today of saying, reach out to us. Let us help you. We're here to connect with you guys. So bear that in mind. It was a ton of great information today. Just so many great, as I think about the financial security needs in Waco, I heard so many things from this education, the education panel about how do we connect people to educational opportunities or job training opportunities in our financial security panel earlier. As housing continues to be a problem, there's resources available in ways that you can partner with our housing department to really create affordable housing solutions and revitalization in neighborhoods in our community. Use our parks, send kids and families to the libraries, jump into the sports and arts. What a great day. I'm really thankful for all of the panels that came today. One quick plug, we've talked about a lot of ways to engage. Another way you can engage in the city is our boards and commissions. We have a really robust set of boards and commissions, from our planning commissions to our Parks and Rec board to our animal welfare board. There's a diverse set of ways that you can serve and advise the city council on really specific issues impacting the community. You can just Google City of Waco boards and commissions and apply. There's some vacancies there now. So if you or your congregants want to serve our community, your engagement into the community and to our culture is not only needed, it's really meaningful. If you're looking around the room and you're like, someone isn't here, or there's a congregation that isn't here, or there's a community of faith that isn't here, ping us and let us know and say, hey, or connect them to me somehow and say, hey, we want to make sure that we add this community faith leader to your listserv so that they can be invited. We did our very best to be very, very comprehensive in our invitation list. Inevitably probably missed somebody, was not our intention at all. But if you're looking around the room and you're like, man, I really wish they would have been there. Maybe they just couldn't make it, but maybe we missed it, and that was not our intent. So send us anybody that you think that might want to be here. Know that we definitely want them here. I see a lot of senior leadership here. I see some people that aren't senior. Take this back to your board of elders. Take this back to your leaders. Dream big, pray big about what you can do with some of the information that you had here today. I want to pause right now and give a really big thanks to our city staff. Deidre Emerson, Michelle Hicks, Monica Settlemeyer, they really planned this whole thing. I just want to give them a round of applause. I want to thank our city manager, Bradley Ford, who's here, who let me do this with our city staff and all the time that all of these staff members have given to this. I would really love, if you just take a note right now as we're wrapping up here, send them an email, send our city staff an email encouraging them, send the panelists that were up here, take that program home with you and have someone divide it up amongst your church staff or have your congregants send an encouraging email to them. They work really hard for this community. A lot of times the calls they get is when someone's really angry. And so if you can give them some encouragement, it's going to go a long way. And just say what you're doing in this community is really meaningful. So don't hesitate to do that. Thank you so much for being here today. One thing I would really like us to consider, just last thing as we go, I just want to plant a seed. And I want to talk more about this later with you as we go, is the concept of potentially adopting a block-by-block model of saying which blocks do we want to adopt? Maybe to do some home repair, we talked about that earlier, but maybe just to serve and love different parts of our community in a strategic way. So let that kind of be thinking about that, let that percolate a little bit, and see if you have any vision for that. But we'll circle back up with our communities of faith. Waco's a better city because of you, and more importantly, just to be really honest, for Waco to be the city that we want it to be, that it's called to be, we need you. We need you in all the ways that we discussed today. I'm so thankful for all the work you're doing, all the things you're doing to make our city better. I hope you feel inspired and more informed, and thank you so much for being here today. Thanks for coming. You're dismissed.